Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is all about flawless looking skin, long-lasting makeup, and makeup that covers acne, scars, uneven skin tone. You would not believe the layers I have on my face, but I think I look quite natural and glowy. So without further ado, let's just get right in. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna start off with something pre-foundation. This is the Farsali, correct me if I'm wrong, Skin Tune Blur. If you have oily skin like myself, this will be really helpful and beneficial. As you guys know, I'm not a massive primer fan, not because I don't believe in them, but I don't know, maybe I don't believe in them. This blurs the appearance of pores. If you have oily skin, naturally you're going to have larger pores, especially in that T-zone area. So that is me 100%. I have larger pores right in this area. So this just helps fill them, but it doesn't feel silicone-y. It doesn't add an extra layer. I think that's what it is with primers. Obviously I can't really use hydrating ones because I have naturally a lot of hydration in my skin. And then anything that is like matte or, you know, pore filling, I feel like adds an extra layer. And sometimes pills, I just find those thicker primers just don't really do much for me, and if anything, they kind of make me more oily. So that little skin blur lightly fills the pores, but it doesn't add an extra layer. The next step, which you guys obviously know by now, I've done it in a couple tutorials slash a lot of my tutorials, is taking a powder and putting on pre-foundation. I know it sounds weird if you've never heard of that before, but I promise you, my oily skin girls, you will be loving this trick. It is the best trick in the book. I'm going to use this powder. Now, this powder you can't just buy online. You need to go to a clinic that sells it. It is by DMK. It's a medical grade. It's called a sebum control powder, the best powder for oily skin, but you need to go to a clinic that sells it. So highly suggest searching your local skin clinics. I am going to use a damp beauty sponge. This is also a key product with this whole tutorial of covering any acne breakouts, which I have some hormonal ones, like my jawline is hormonal, which is that time of the month, but up here I think it was a reaction to some skin products. I've been trying some new things. That's the one downside with PR products, is you tend to try a lot of things and my skin would react in an acne way. So if my skin doesn't like it, it will break out. That's just my skin. So normally this is all clear and we had a little reaction to something. I'm going to take some of that powder and I'm just going to press it in areas that I get oily. So again, my T-zone, and I'm gonna go in an upward motion just because you fill your pores better that way. And this is going to keep your makeup on literally all day, but also reduce the shine on your face and the oil. This is a trick whenever I have to get ready in the morning and I have an event later in the day, but I need to get ready in the morning for it. This like ensures that my makeup will stay perfect all day, and also give me the least amount of times for touch up because it reduces my shine and oil. We're gonna move on to foundation. I used to swear by this foundation, especially when I had really bad hormonal acne in my early 20s. I broke out really badly and just nothing covered it except for this foundation. It is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. They've reformulated it a couple of times, I believe. I used to always wear the shade Tawny, but it is a little bit too dark, and because I don't wear fake tan all the time, I just can't really wear that shade. This shade is way better. It's Wheat 3N2, I believe. Yeah, so it's a neutral shade. If you're similar skin tone to me, you'll really like this. It is still the slightest bit on the warm neutral side, so I'm gonna have to bronze up my neck. This is amazing. If you find that this foundation was too heavy for you the first time you tried it, use it with a damp beauty sponge. I swear you'll be obsessed with it. It is so good. It really is. I have friends who have like dry skin and they love this foundation. So it's all about the application. Using it with a brush, you're not gonna get the same results. Damp beauty sponge, you're gonna love it. This is just one pump, by the way. We're gonna start off with that because my trick is always go less everywhere, and then on areas that we need to control coverage, we can go over just those areas, not the whole face. Dabbing this into my face, and you can already see, oh, it is so good. Like, it really does just cover. And because we put that layer of powder, it almost acts as a little bit of a grip, and it holds on to the cream product or liquid product a lot better. Also, you guys know I don't love putting foundation on my forehead just because I tend not to break out on my forehead, and because it's like the area I'd have the most fine lines, I feel like it accentuates any fine lines if I put foundation up there. So I'm really just using anything that was left on my sponge to just, you know, make the look cohesive, but I don't want it to be full coverage up there. Okay, that is a full face of 2 pumps of that foundation, and I'm happy with the coverage. Overall, I feel like my skin looks even. There's just some areas that are still poking through, but I'm not going to go back with foundation because I don't want it to cake on and look heavy. I feel like that's a common mistake if you feel like you need to cover any acne or scarring, is to put it on more foundation layers. So this is where we're going to step away from the foundation because overall my skin is even. This is the Doll 10 concealer. A lot of my concealers are brightening, so this is one that's actually a little bit more close to the color of my skin everywhere except for under my eyes. I'm just gonna dab this on the areas I need a little bit more coverage. This is a really good full coverage concealer, but it doesn't look cakey on your skin. Take a little bit more on this side because this guy is angry here. Let that sit for just 1 moment. I saw in a video, I think it was Mariah Leonard, that she put on concealer and just let it sit for a second and then blended it in, and for some reason the coverage was a little bit better. I don't know if that's a thing, but we're gonna do it. Also, I'm gonna take my normal concealer that I put under my eyes, which is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer in Cotton. This one is brighter, so it's definitely going to lift. Love this concealer. I find it has minimal creasing and it stays, and this shade definitely is highlighting. So going back to my face concealer, I'm just going to go with this. This is literally the best thing ever. I'm just gonna lightly dab that concealer into place, and because we waited just a moment, it's not like too liquidy, like it's like the product, like the sponge isn't taking off the product, it's just blending it in. So that's a little tip there. So I'm just gonna keep going. I know, make really gross faces and you'll find the little guys that maybe thought you covered, but my jawline, that area for hormonal breakouts, ooh, that's the face you have to make to get them. Covering acne, scars, or uneven skin tone this way doesn't make it look like you have 5 layers of foundation on. It's a sneaky way to get the coverage you want, but still having nice looking skin. Like everywhere else has just like a very thin layer of foundation, but on those areas that need just a little bit extra coverage, have it with this concealer, and your face still just looks fresh and radiant. It doesn't look, you know, too intense. Okay, we're gonna go on to a setting powder. This is my 3rd one and I'm almost done. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish Airbrush Powder in 2. And you can tell, literally, I only have like a ring left, so I'm gonna have to order another one. I'm just going to set all those areas that I just concealed, so mostly like my blemish spots. This is gonna add an extra layer of coverage, but also insurance that we don't get oily. And then I'm gonna just put a very thin layer under my eyes so that it doesn't crease, but also doesn't look too powdery or cakey. All right, moving on to contouring, bronzing, blush, all that fun stuff. To make sure your blush, your bronzer, all of that stays all day, because again, if you're an oily skin girl, you'll know even if you just put powder on, it's still gonna not oxidize, but because the oils will come throughout the day, it just kind of breaks down the powder that you put on your face. So my little trick to make sure that my makeup stays flawless for as long as possible is using a cream product first and then a powder product in the same, you know, area. So cream bronzer and then a powder bronzer on top to ensure it's locked in place, it's not gonna move, and also there's not going to be any intense oil. So I'm going to take this Huda Beauty Tantour in Fair. Taking my sponge, I'm going to take it on the side though, and dip it into this. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm not going to talk while doing this, I'm going to go ahead and just do the outsides of my face and my contour areas. Now you're probably thinking, because of all the powder that we have on our face, putting cream on top is going to remove it, but this specific sponge, I use the Real Technique one. I wet it yesterday, so it's just very lightly damp, and you can obviously see it has not touched any of our underneath foundation or product, hasn't lifted it, and it's just been laid on perfectly. Guys, this is the best tool ever. I'm obsessed with these sponges. I also like the Beauty Blender ones, but these ones are cheaper and they're just as good. So I am very light-handed with this. Like, I'm not like intense dabbing. I'm just lightly dabbing it on so that I'm not, you know, removing or moving any of our product underneath. It's simply just laying the product on. And you can obviously see with this specific product, the shine and healthiness that it brings to the cheeks. It's a good one. Okay, I am happy with that contour. It's really pretty. It is really good. Now we're gonna go in with a powder bronzer, and this is the Airbrush bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury, again in the shade 2. It's massive. Don't think I'm gonna hit pan anytime soon. And I'm just gonna lightly dab all those areas that we just contoured. So I'm not moving the cream product, I'm just setting it in place. And again, this adds an extra layer of insurance for us. And then once it's all been set, you can kind of be a little bit more liberal with it and move it around, because now it won't move. Now my favorite part, blush, nothing new there. I have a couple different cream blushes. I have this one from Honest Beauty, which is in the shade Peony Pink. It is it's kind of like the same shade as my, maybe not, similar shade to my nails, but it is a really pretty, just like true neutral mid-tone pink. Or I have this one, which is new for me at least. It's the Convertible Color Dual Lip and Cheek Cream from Stila in the color Petunia. This one has a little bit more of a pop, which I feel like, I know I love that one, and I feel like, why not? Why not? Let's just try this together. So I'm gonna use the Stila one. Again, I'm gonna use this sponge here and just kind of go for it. I'm gonna start at like the top of my cheekbone here and then end on the apple of my cheek, and then do the same thing on the other side and just do a very small amount on the bridge of my nose to connect it. Okay, yeah, that's for sure staying in my makeup bag. Just like the other steps, we are gonna go in with a powder blush. This is Love Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. I wore it on my wedding day. Absolutely love it. If I can open it. And it's in the same color range of like a bright pop of pink, but it's a lot more muted once you put it on. It's just gonna keep it in place and ensure that it lasts as long as possible. Because there's a very slight sheen in this powder blush, it actually doesn't get rid of that sheen that the cream blush has. It just, you know, adds another layer. I know I'm saying layer, but the whole process of long-lasting makeup, and also makeup to hide scars, acne, anything like that, is all about layers. Like, you can't just do one thick pasty kind of foundation or concealer. It's all about layers to make it look as natural as possible, but there's still obviously a lot going on. Okay, we're almost done. It's just onto lips. You guys know I love a nice neutral, maybe pop of pink lip. We're gonna go with my favorite lip liner from Charlotte Tilbury, Iconic Nude. I'm gonna put this all over my lips and just buff it out with my finger. And then on top, I'm gonna use this Lip Velvet Crush. It's a sheer matte stain from Burberry in the shade Sugar Pink. And this goes on with a nice, you know, sheen on it. It looks very hydrating, but then when it wears off, if you drink your coffee, eat your food, all that kind of stuff throughout the day, the stain of this color will last. So you're gonna have a long-lasting lip. All right, that is my full coverage, long-lasting, flawless-looking makeup. You can tell, even though with all those layers of creams, powders, all that fun stuff, my skin still looks healthy. Also, I think using that kind of pink shade really does emulate a glow from within look. Also, it corresponds with the lip shade as well. This is 100% my go-to kind of look if I have to get ready early in the morning for a later event and have to make sure that my makeup lasts as long as possible, or if I just have one of those skin days that I just want a full coverage looking look without looking cakey. Let me know some future looks you want to see on my channel in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!